So you're thinking about moving to the Seattle metropolitan area? Well, in this video, I'm gonna go over 5 things you need to know, you need to be aware of before you move over to the Seattle area. So stay tuned. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe here so you don't miss any of my future videos on what it's like living over here in Seattle and the local Seattle real estate scene. People just like yourself reach out to me here from YouTube all the time. When they're looking to move over here, they're asking questions, they need some help on buying a home over here. I am an active real estate agent in the Seattle area. So if you're coming over here, you're making the move to the Seattle Metro, you need some help finding a home, buying a home over here, and just working through that process, finding the right place to live for you or you and your family, feel free to reach out to me here at my info on the screen. You can call, text, or email me. Be more than happy to guide you through that process and see what I can do to help. But like I said, on today's video, I'm gonna go over 5 things you should know before you start making the move over here so you can be best prepared to make that move. So number 1 is to plan for the current real estate market. So the market, here in May 2022, this is when I'm shooting this video, our real estate market is starting to shift and change a little bit. The last 2 years, it's been an absolutely insane market. Very seller friendly. Buyers were having to compete with 5 to 10 to 20 other buyers on the same house. It was just turning into a complete bidding war and exhausted a lot of buyers that could not compete. Now, as we're shifting here, May 2022, the market is starting to change a little bit. It's starting to become a little bit more buyer friendly, not quite as insane on the competition on overbidding in houses around here. So this can be a good time to get in, but you need to be aware of what's happening in the real estate market before you decide to purchase a home. Because if you're watching this video a year down the road in 2023 or in 2024, the real estate market might be different than what I'm talking about right now. So you need to be able to prepare for what that move looks like. If you're planning to come from another state and you're buying a house over here, you need to know what's actually happening with the real estate market so you can be realistic with timelines, with pricing, with what the whole process looks like in general so you can best plan and make that transition as easy as possible for you. I'm more than happy to help guide you through that process. You can check out my page here. I always do market updates on what's happening in the Seattle real estate market, or you can contact me directly and kind of see what's going on and kind of the best way to approach that move when you're looking to buy, specifically when you're looking to buy a home over here. Point number 2 is you need to consider your moving options. Again, this applies mostly to those that are looking to purchase a home over here. When you're buying a home out of state, of course, it's no easy task. You need to figure out exactly how you want to approach that, because there are a few different ways you can do that. I help out a lot of you that are moving here from out of state. Some people say, hey, I'm gonna take a visit up there. We're gonna drive around. We're gonna figure out the areas and neighborhoods that we like. We're gonna go on back down to, Texas, California, Utah, wherever we live. And then from there, we know what neighborhoods we like, and we wanna do virtual showings with you, Bryce. And then from there, if we like any homes via virtual showings, we'll put in offers at that point, or we'll fly back up to see that home in person if we like that one specifically and think we have a good chance to get it. Or we'll just do virtual tours with you and make the offer over a virtual tour with you. That is completely up to you how you're comfortable. There's plenty of people that are not comfortable doing virtual tours and making offers that way. You want to see the house in person, completely understand that. So you need to figure out exactly how you want to be over here. There are plenty of other people that say, hey, we're just going to come over there, we're going to rent short-term, get a short-term rental, and then we're going to start our home shopping process. So you can do an Airbnb for a short-term rental. You can get a hotel or an extended stay. A lot of people end up doing that, where that way they're over here, they're on site, they can feel out every home in person, and then they can make offers that way. But they're still able to be competitive and aggressive because they are, on site, ready to go. They're in a short-term, month to month, whatever it is, rental, where they don't have to wait out a lease for, getting over here and getting a rental for like a year. They're just getting short-term, so you can, actively shop once you get over here. That is a really popular avenue that people go when they're coming here from out of state. The other option is some people will just come over here. They'll say, hey, I'm gonna visit for 3 weeks. We're gonna get an Airbnb or a hotel for 2 or 3 weeks. We can take off work, or we're working remote, but we're just gonna try and be over here for 2 or 3 weeks so we can see a lot of different homes come up, and then hope we can find a home in those 2 or 3 weeks that we like, we make an offer on, we get accepted, then we can go back to our, our previous home, our previous state, pack everything up, get out of our house down there, and then we'll close on a house in the Seattle area and be able to move right in. So that's another popular way people are doing it. But like I said, what's important to know is you need to figure out the best plan for your situation. Everybody's situation is different, but you want to have a plan in place so you can shop for homes effectively over here while you're out of state. Make sure you have enough time when you're visiting over here. That way you're not just settling for a home that you can just get into that you don't really like. We want to get you into a home that you're going to be very, very happy with. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time, so we want to make sure you're available to see those homes and be able to be a little patient if we need to. But happy to help you through that process. Feel free to reach out to me. We can kind of figure out what the best strategy might be for you if you're planning to move over here, buy a home in this area from out of state. Number 3 thing you need to know is narrow down your locations. The Seattle metro area is a very, very large area. A lot of times when people come here from out of state, they get here and tell me, wow, this is a much larger area than I even thought it was. There are so many different suburbs in cities in Seattle metropolitan that you need to be able to try and narrow down where you're going to be looking. A great way to do this is your initial visit. A lot of people will say, hey, we're going to come up for a weekend or a week and we're just going to drive around. We'll look at a few houses here and there, but mostly we're just going to try and narrow down the cities that we like. You got to factor in different things that are important to you, like commute times, like schools, crime ratings you can look at online. A lot of different factors, parks, different types of neighborhoods, all these different factors that go into what you're looking for in an area. It's important before you start really house shopping and actively looking to make offers on homes, you want to have a general gist of the area that you're looking in. Now, it can be a couple of different areas. Of course, there's nothing wrong with that, but you don't want to just be looking in the entire Seattle metropolitan area. There's no way you'll be able to cover everything. There is so much, area in Seattle metro, so many different cities that you've got to have, some criteria narrowed down of what's going to fit your budget and what's important to you. And then from there, let's dive deep into those cities, look at those homes and see what kind of neighborhoods would best fit what you're looking for. So narrow down, you can watch my videos here as well. There's some helpful videos on here on what different areas are to live in, but it's super helpful when you're here in person, you start touring around those areas and you get a feel for what it might be like there. That can really help you narrow down before you start actively house shopping. The number 4 important thing to know is that most suburbs are nothing like Seattle. So if you're somebody that's, hey, I visited Seattle one time, we're moving over here, we just want to change the scenery, we're taking a new job, but I've really only been to Seattle once and I was just downtown. If you're downtown, that's not a very good representation of the entire Seattle metropolitan area as a whole. Like any large downtown area, downtown Seattle has a vibe. You'll see a lot of the homelessness, you'll see a lot of graffiti in tent cities. The city's not very clean in some areas. It's very busy and hectic down there. Versus if you go outside of Seattle and you look at some of the suburbs on the east side, say the Kirkland and Bellevue and Redmond, or you go up north to Linwood or Bothell, or even Lake Stevens or Snohomish, or you go down south, closer to the airport, or you go southeast, closer to Maple Valley. There's a lot of different vibes around here on what it's going to feel like to live there. If you're living in Maple Valley, or you're living in Snohomish, or you're living in Lake Stevens, it's going to feel absolutely nothing like living in Seattle, downtown Seattle, if that's the only place you're familiar with over here. So just know that Seattle itself is not a representation of the entire metropolitan area. There's lots of different suburbs to fit your lifestyle, what you're looking for. If you want an acreage home, you want to feel like you're living in the country, you have that in Seattle Metro. If you want that urban downtown living lifestyle, you've got multiple options. You've got Seattle, or you've got Bellevue, which is a very different vibe in Bellevue than it is in Seattle. So you need to check that out. If you're just looking for an urban vibe, don't just settle on Seattle first. Check out Bellevue, see if you like it, because it's very different. If you want a typical suburban, you live on a cul-de-sac, you've got close neighbors, you've got an average size yard, you can go walk your dog around the neighborhood, but you're not way out in the boonies or anything. There are tons of suburbs like that and neighborhoods like that would be a perfect fit for you. So before you make your decision or maybe cross Seattle off your list, make sure you explore the other suburbs to see what it might actually be like to live there, and see if there's something that fits what you're looking for, because I think there's a good chance there would be, as Seattle Metro has so many different things to offer. All right, and the last point number 5 is Seattle is old. There's a lot of different architecture over here, and it's very unique types of living. So I've had many people that I've spoken with that have come over here, and I've helped make that move, specifically people that have come from Texas or some of these areas with a lot of newer homes where you've got these neighborhoods like in Texas where all the homes, you know, are recently built. They all look pretty similar. It's a very consistent feel across the entire area. This isn't just unique to Texas. I know there's plenty of other areas like this, but that's just an example of people that have come from there that have told me the same thing. I've heard it many, many times. And then they come to Seattle and it feels so different. The houses feel so different. It's so unique. There's different options. So this, of course, can be a good thing. There are plenty of new homes around here too. So if you're coming from a place that's only new homes and you want a new construction home, you don't want to deal with the older homes, there's lots of new construction around here going in as well, obviously to support the demand. So that's not a worry. It's not like you can't find new construction. But if you want options that are a little different, that have more character and more uniqueness to them when it comes to your home, there's a lot of that in Seattle. I mean, there's places where you could buy a 1920s craftsman or colonial style home. You know, places in Everett where you can have this huge colonial home with pillars and you're overlooking the Puget Sound. There's downtown areas, like I said, with these little, you know, 800 square foot or 1,300 square foot craftsman style homes with front porches and porch swings. There's so many different types. There's Tudors around here. There's some A-frame homes around here. You know, homes, like I said, as old as 1900 all the way to new construction. And this isn't just specific to Seattle. This is all the surrounding suburbs as well. Some of the suburbs, of course, are going to be newer on average, and some are going to be older, but you have a wide variety of different types of homes that you can look at. So you're not going to just be looking at the same boring old cookie cutter homes, you know, every single home, neighborhood in, neighborhood out. You're going to have a lot of different options and types of things you can look at if that's something important to you, or you want something unique, you want something a little different, you want a house that doesn't look like all of your neighbors. You can find that here very, very easily in the Seattle metropolitan area. All right, well, this wraps up my video on 5 things you need to know before you move over to Seattle Metro. Like I said, I'm an active real estate agent over here, so if you need help making the move over here and buying a home, finding that right spot to live, feel free to reach out to me here at my info on the screen. Be more than happy to help you out. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my future videos. Appreciate you watching this one, and feel free to check out one of these 2 videos right up here for some more content on what it's like living in the Seattle Metro.